The sun was sinking low when the cowboys first saw her, a dark shape swaying against the endless gold of the prairie, and for a moment they thought she was only another trick of the heat. But then she stumbled, dropped to one knee, and the illusion shattered. She was real. And she was bleeding. They rode in a loose line, dust clinging to their boots and horses, tired men heading home after a long day of driving cattle. Someone laughed at a joke half finished, another cursed the heat, and then one of them pointed. "You see that?" he said. The men slowed, squinting. A woman stood alone where no one should be, her dress torn, her dark hair stuck to her face with sweat and blood. She tried to take another step and nearly fell again. "Probably trouble," one cowboy muttered. "Could be a trap. Or she's drunk," another said. "Or crazy." They watched her for a long second, long enough for the world to make its judgment. One by one, they nudged their horses forward, not toward her, but past her. The trail home was waiting, and trouble had a way of sticking to those who stopped. All but one. Ethan Cole pulled his reins tight. His horse snorted, confused by the sudden halt, and dust drifted around them. Ethan stared at the woman, at the way she clutched her stomach as if holding herself together, at the dark stain spreading through the fabric of her dress. He felt the familiar knot in his chest, the one he'd learned to ignore most days. He didn't ignore it now. "You coming?" someone called back. Ethan swallowed. "You go on," he said. "I'll catch up." They laughed. "Suit yourself. Don't say we didn't warn you." The sound of hooves faded, leaving only the wind and the woman's ragged breathing. Ethan dismounted slowly, careful not to spook her. As he stepped closer, she lifted her head, eyes wide with fear. She tried to back away, failed, and collapsed to the ground with a cry she tried to swallow. "It's all right," Ethan said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you." Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Blood seeped between her fingers where she pressed them to her gut. Ethan's heart hammered. He'd seen men shot before, seen them die on the trail with curses on their lips and dust in their mouths. Seeing it on a woman, alone and terrified, felt different. Worse. He knelt and reached for his canteen. "Water," he said, uncorking it and holding it near her mouth. "Just a little." She hesitated, then drank, weakly at first, then greedily, water spilling down her chin. When she was done, she sagged back, eyes fluttering. "Who did this?" Ethan asked. Her voice came out hoarse. "Riders," she whispered. They shot me. Took my horse." Ethan cursed under his breath. He tore a strip from his bandana and pressed it gently against the wound. She gasped, but didn't pull away. "You're going to be okay," he said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. "There's a town not far from here. A doctor." Her eyes searched his face, as if looking for a lie. "They all passed me," she said. "You didn't." Ethan didn't know what to say to that. He lifted her carefully, cradling her against his chest, and set her on his horse. She was light, too light, and that scared him more than the blood. He mounted behind her, holding her steady, and turned them toward town. The ride felt endless. Every jolt drew a sharp breath from her, every pause a fear that she'd slipped away. Ethan talked the whole time, about nothing and everything, about the weather, about the river ahead, about how his mother used to sing to him when he was sick. He didn't know if she was listening. He just knew he couldn't stop. Her name, he learned between breaths, was Clara. She'd been traveling with her husband, heading west to start over. They'd argued that morning. He'd ridden ahead, angry, leaving her to follow. The riders came out of nowhere. She didn't know if her husband was alive. By the time the town appeared on the horizon, Ethan's arms were shaking. He shouted for help as he rode in, and people came running, drawn by blood and urgency. The doctor took over, brisk and calm, and Clara was carried away. Ethan stood there, hands stained red, feeling suddenly useless. Hours passed. The sun set, then rose again. Ethan didn't leave the porch outside the doctor's office. When the door finally opened, the doctor looked tired but satisfied. "She'll live," he said. "Bullet passed clean. Lost a lot of blood, but she's strong." Ethan sagged with relief he hadn't known he was holding back. He thanked the doctor, then hesitated. "Can I see her?" Clara lay pale against the white sheets, but her eyes were open. She smiled faintly when she saw him. "You stayed," she said. "Someone had to," Ethan replied. Days turned into weeks. Clara healed slowly, and Ethan found reasons to be in town more often than before. He brought her apples, then books, then stories. They talked about loss and hope, about the lives they'd left behind and the ones they didn't yet understand. When her husband never came, they mourned together, quietly. When Clara was strong enough to walk, she stepped outside into the sunlight and breathed deeply. "I don't know what comes next," she said. Ethan looked at her, at the woman who'd survived when so many would have been left to die. "Neither do I," he said. "But you don't have to face it alone." She took his hand, tentative but sure. Around them, the town went on with its noise and dust and indifference. But in that small space, something had changed. Not every cowboy stops. Not every wound is seen. But sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to pause, to offer water, to choose compassion over convenience. And sometimes, that choice saves more than a life. Sometimes, it saves a future.